So what I thought I'd do for today's video is go through every League 2 club's transfers so far, and I'll pick out one player who I think has been their best signing of the window so far. Now if you do go on to enjoy today's video, make sure you drop a like on it. 70 likes would be absolutely class. Subscribe if you are new as well. Let's waste no further time and get straight into today's video. So starting out then with AFC Wimbledon, they've made 3 signings so far. At the time of recording, it is 10-1 on the 18th of July. They've brought in Chris Gunter, Kyle Hudlin and Alex Pearce. I've gone with Alex Pearce as their best signing so far. I definitely do think they need to bring in some more additions, but he's come in from Millwall, an experienced centre-half at this level. I think he's 33 now. I think he's much better than... I don't really think Gunter was the greatest with his time at Charlton. Hudlin, very unproven. You know, seems to be like pretty much a one-trick pony. That is what he has been described as over social media over the past couple of days. I think he's 6'9" or something like that, which definitely gives AFC Wimbledon something a little bit different going forward. But for me personally, I think AFC Wimbledon's best signing so far is Alex Pearce. Barrow AFC have brought in 8 players so far. Sam Foley, George Ray, Billy Waters, Solomon. Now I'm going to absolutely butcher this name. Mwabueke. I've absolutely butchered that. I'm so sorry. Tyrell Warren, Richie Bennett, Harrison Neal, Sam McKelland. I've personally gone with George Ray. I think he's a good League 2 centre-half. He averaged 1.9 interceptions last season. I think he was with Exeter for the first part of the season, then went out on loan to Leyton Orient, so his stats are all kind of mixed into one. 28 years of age, I think he's a very good age. I was actually quite surprised when I seen that Barrow had signed him, because I do think he's a very good player, especially for a club like Barrow. He averaged 5.1 aerial duels as well per 90, winning 70% of them, so very good League 2 centre-half. I think he'll definitely do very well with Barrow next season. Bradford City have brought in 14 players, the most out of every League 2 club. We've brought in Jamie Walker, Harry Lewis, Jake Young, Matty Platt, Ryan East, Kian Harrott, Colin Doyle, Emmanuel Osadibe, Harry Chapman, Romany Critchlow, Richie Smallwood, Timmy Odesina, Brad Halliday and Verdane Oliver. I've obviously gone with Richie Smallwood. There was some close contenders in there like Harry Chapman and Verdane Oliver, but it was only really going to be Richie Smallwood. He was Hull's captain for the past couple of seasons. He made like 40 plus appearances as well last season in the Championship. Every time I've watched him in the 3 pre-season games so far, he's been a class above everybody else on the pitch. He was kind of one of the only few players who looks actually competent against Derby County, who obviously got a very good team now. I think at League 2, you probably struggle to find a better signing than Richie Smallwood. I think for me personally, he's the best signing from every League 2 club so far. You could call me biased as I am obviously a Bradford City fan, but I think Richie Smallwood playing in League 2 is absolutely fantastic. Carlisle United have brought in 6 players so far this transfer window. Thomas Hawley, Owen Moxon, Ryan Edmondson, Sonny Hilton, Ben Barkley and Finn Back. I've gone with Thomas Hawley. I think at 30s that's a good age for a goalkeeper. He's obviously 6'9", so very commanding. When the balls come into the box, he's going to come and claim them crosses. I think he was very good at Gillingham. He obviously brings in some experience. I don't think it's been a great career for him so far this past couple of seasons. Since he's moved to Ipswich, his career has kind of been on the decline, so you could kind of say he has a little bit of a point to prove. But for me personally, for Carlisle United, I've gone with Thomas Hawley. Colchester United up next then. They've brought in 3 players this transfer window. Alex Newby, Osama Ashley and Sam Hornby. Obviously Hornby was with them for the second half of last season. They've since made that permanent. I've gone with Alex Newby. I do think he's a good player at League 2 level. He's come in, I believe, on a free transfer from Rochdale. Last season he got 6 goals and 3 assists in the 21-22 season, averaging 1.0 key passes per 90, 1.1 dribbles per game as well, with an 80% passing accuracy. I do think he's a good player at this level, and I think that is Colchester's best signing so far. Crawley Town, there's a few options. They've signed 6 players this season. Dion Conroy, Dom Telford, Corey Adai, Toby Amole, Travis Johnson and James Balagizi. I think I've probably pronounced that wrong, but I've obviously gone with Dom Telford. I was potentially going to go with Dion Conroy, but Dom Telford last season was obviously League 2's top scorer. He finished with 25 goals and 3 assists, averaging a goal every 122 minutes. I think on paper, this is obviously a very good signing. He's done very well at Crawley so far in pre-season as well. I've already said before, I don't think he'll do as good this season as what he did last season, but I think it will be very hard for him to hit 25 goals in back-to-back seasons. Last season, though, he did also miss 8 big chances, so if he scored all of his big chances, he finishes on 33 goals. So, interesting to see how Dom Telford does get on next season for Crawley, and I have gone with him as their signing of the season so far. Crewe Alexandra up next then. They've brought in 5 players: Courtney Baker Richardson, Charlie Colkett, Connor Thomas, Kelvin Miller and Rod McDonald. I've gone with Connor Thomas. Now, you might think, why have you not gone with Baker Richardson? But I think Connor Thomas is a very good player at League 2 level. He did struggle for game time last season with Cheltenham. Obviously, they are now in League 1. But I think in League 2, Connor Thomas was very good. He averaged 1 interception per game, 1.2 tackles per game as well. I think he is a good holding midfielder at this level. And I think so far, he has been Crewe's best signing. Doncaster Rovers have also brought in 5 players: George Miller, Harrison Biggins, Luke Molyneux, Adam Long and Josh Andrews. I've gone with Luke Molyneux. It's fantastic for Hartlepool last season. He scored 8 goals for them in the 21-22 campaign. Created 4 big chances, averaging 0.8 key passes per game as well. And he also managed to draw in 1.1 fouls on average per game as well. I think it's a very good sign. I think when he left Hartlepool, a lot of people were thinking he was probably going to go to a League 1 club, but he's gone to Doncaster, maybe potentially slightly closer to home for him, but I think that's probably Doncaster's best signing so far. Although I was debating between Molyneux and Harrison Biggins. Gillingham have made the 9 signings so far then: Sean McWilliams, Scott Cashgett, Mikhail Mandron, Jake Turner, Shea Alexandra, Will Wright, Dom Jeffries, Ashley Maynard Brewer and Elkan Baggett. I've gone with Sean Williams, obviously very experienced, he's central midfielder, averaged 0.9 interceptions, 1.5 tackles, 1.1 clearances as well per 90 for Portsmouth last season in the league above. I think he's a very good signing for Gillingham. He is 35, so they might need to manage his minutes every now and again, but he averaged 2.6 ground duels per 90 as well, winning 62% of them, and then especially for a holding midfielder to average 1 key pass per game as well, I do think that's very impressive. So for Gillingham signing of the season so far, I have gone with Sean McWilliams. If you do disagree with anything or any of my opinions, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. You'll know your club a lot better than me, and if you are enjoying today's video, please make sure you do drop a like on it. Feel free to subscribe as well if you haven't already. But moving on then to Grimsby Town, they've obviously brought in 7 players so far this season. I don't know many of them, but they've brought in Anthony Driscoll Glennon, Niall Maher, Danilo Orsi, Stephen Warren, Brian, I have no idea, something Morris, Otis Khan and Kieran Green. Now, SofaScore doesn't actually have any statistics for the National League, so I was looking at Kieran Green, but I couldn't see how many goals and assists he's got last season. So I've gone with Otis Khan. Like I said, I don't know many of their signings, but at 26, I think that's a good age. He scored 3 goals with 3 assists last season for Leyton Orient. He created 3 big chances, averaging 1.1 key passes per game, averaged 0.7 dribbles as well per 90, 40% of them being successful. He can also do the defensive side though, with 1 tackle and 1.1 clearances per 90 as well. So for me personally, I think Grimsby's best signing so far is Otis Khan. Harrogate Town have brought in the 8 signings so far then: Joe Mattock, Miles Welch-Hage, Kyle Ferguson, Stephen Dooley, Peter Jameson, Matty Daly, Jaheim Headley and Lewis Richards. I've obviously gone with Joe Mattock. I think this is a fantastic signing for Harrogate. For me personally, I think he is League 1 standard. He's 32, so he's not exactly old. I think he's, maybe just gone out of his prime now, but I do think he's a very good signing for Harrogate. Last season, he averaged 1.3 interceptions per 90, 1.8 clearances per 90. He also averaged 0.5 crosses per 90, 48% of them being successful. I think by far and away, this is Harrogate's best signing. I think he could have got a lower-end League 1 club. I do think it's a very good signing for most clubs at League 2 level, never mind Harrogate. Hartlepool United then have brought in the 8 players so far this transfer window: Ewan Murray, Regan Tumilty, Jake Hasty, Callum Cook, Alex Lacey, Brodie Patterson, Mohamed Niang and Josh Umara. I've gone with Callum Cook at 25. He's at a fantastic age. I personally wanted him to stay at Bradford City. Obviously wasn't offered a new contract. He was one of the higher earners last season for us, and he's probably going to be a backup this season, so it did make sense in that point of view for him to move on. But I do think he's a very good player at League 2 level. I thought he could have probably got a League 1 club, but last season he scored 2 goals and he also got 7 assists for Bradford City in League 2. He created 5 big chances with 2.3 key passes averaged per 90. He also had an 84% passing accuracy, which I think is very good for number 10. If Paul Hartley can get the best out of Callum Cook next season, I think he will be one of the best number 10s in the league. Leyton Orient have only brought in the 3 signings so far: Anthony Georgiou, George Moncur and Theo Archibald. I think they are all very good signings, but I have obviously gone with George Moncur. A 3-year deal at the age of 28. Richie Wellens clearly does see a player in him. He has struggled for game time though last season with Hull. He played on 14 appearances, only managed the 7 starts though. I do think there's a very good player in there if Richie Wellens can get the best out out of him. Like I said, though, I do think all three have been good signings so far for Leyton Orient. So if they keep up their recruitment like that, I think they'll make the playoffs. I made a full video about Leyton Orient. You can check that out a couple of days ago over on the channel. But for me personally, I think Leyton Orient's best signing so far is George Moncur. Mansfield Town have brought in the 5 players: Hiram Boateng, Scott Flinders, Christy Pym, Riley Harbottle and Will Swan. I personally have gone with Christy Pym. It would have been Hiram Boateng, but I think Christy Pym is a very good signing at this level. I think for me personally, he is as good, if not better, than Bishop. In the 20/21 campaign for Peterborough, where obviously Peterborough finished second in League One, he was a big part of that. You know, he only averaged 0.9 goals conceded per game, so less than a goal a game in the league above. He kept 15 clean sheets and he only had the 1 error leading to a goal as well. I think it's a fantastic signing for Mansfield. I'm still backing them to win the league. I think they maybe get another attacking player in, maybe in the wide areas. I think they'll definitely win the league for me. Newport County up next, then they brought in the 8 players: Aaron Wildig, Will Evans, Afrande Zanzala, Omar Bogle, Sam Bowen, Declan Drysdale, Adam Lewis and Chanka Zimba. I think a lot of them are very good signings at this level. I personally have gone with Aaron Wildig. Last season in League One, he scored 2 goals with 4 assists in 16 starts. This was obviously for Morecambe, I do believe. He is now 30, so I think he's at a good age for himself. You know, he's coming into his prime now. I do think it's a good signing. Last season, he created 2 big chances and also averaged 0.9 key passes per game. And that is why I think Aaron Wildig is Newport County's best signing of the summer so far. Northampton Town have also brought in 8 players this transfer window. Some very good ones as well: Danny Hilton, Lee Burge, Ryan Haynes, Ben Fox, Harvey Lintott, Akin Ademeo, Sam Shering and Kieran Bowen. Now, I personally have gone with Ben Fox. There was some good options in there like Hilton, like Lee Burge, but I think he was fantastic for Grimsby last season. He was obviously a big factor in their promotion campaign. Don't have any in-depth statistics, but when I watched him in the playoff semi-final and the playoff final, I thought he was absolutely fantastic. I do think that's a very good signing for Northampton Town, but if you to argue Danny Hilton or Lee Burge, I definitely wouldn't have any complaints with that either. Rochdale have brought in the 7 players: Tamani Diagaraga, Richard O'Donnell, Ian Henderson and Ethan Ebanks-Landell, as well as Cameron John, Devante Rodney and Femi Seriki. I've gone with Ethan Ebanks-Landell. I think this is a fantastic signing at this level. When I saw Shrewsbury had released him, I personally wanted Bradford City to go in for him. Last season, he started 33 times for Shrewsbury in League One. He got 13 clean sheets, which I think for a club like Shrewsbury is absolutely fantastic. He averaged 1.4 interceptions per game, 1.8 tackles per game, 5.5 clearances per game, 2.2 ground duels as well per 90, winning 65% of them, and 2.8 aerial duels per 90, winning 57% of them. I think some of their signings have been a little bit meh, but I do think Diagaraga is a very good signing as well. Cameron John as well, not exactly a bad signing, but for me personally, I think Ethan Ebanks-Landell has been Rochdale's best signing so far. Salford City up next then. Now they've just brought in the 3 players: Callum Hendry, Stevie Mallon and Elliot Watt. I've never heard of Mallon. I don't know too much about Callum Hendry, so I've gone with Elliot Watt, obviously the former Bradford City central midfielder. In the right system, I do think Elliot Watt is very good at this level. Last season, he scored 2 goals and got 3 assists for us. Created 5 big chances, averaging 1.5 key passes per 90 as well, which I think is very good for a holding midfielder. He also averaged 1.5 interceptions per game, 2.0 tackles per game, 1.5 clearances per game. He also averaged 3 ground duels per 90, winning 44% of them. I think, like I said, in the right system, Elliot Watt could be a very good player at this level. Stevenage up next then. Now they've brought in the 11 signings so far. I think the 3rd most amount of signings so far this summer transfer window for any League 2 club. They brought in Matt Lark, Michael Bostwick, Jordan Roberts, Aaron Chapman, Danny Rose, Carl Piergiani, Dan Sweeney, Kane Smith, Dean Campbell, Tay Ashby Hammond and Saxon Early. I think a lot of them are very good signings for this level. I have gone with Carl Piergiani. I do think he's a solid League 2 centre-half. I don't know, last season he did get relegated with Oldham, but he was one of their better players. He's experienced and he's at a good age at the age of 30. He scored 3 goals and got 4 assists, which I think for a centre-half is very impressive. He also got 12 clean sheets last season for Oldham. For a club that got relegated, I think that is very impressive. 7.5 clearances per 90, 2.5 ground duels as well per 90, winning 66% of them, and 6.2 aerial duels per 90, winning 71% of them. He also averaged 1.4 tackles and 0.8 interceptions, so anything that comes into Stevenage's box next season, you will expect this man to get his head on the end of it at either end and either clear it or try and put it into the back of the net. I know there was obviously a few options in there: Dean Campbell, Danny Rose, Aaron Chapman, who, you know, it could have been even Michael Bostwick as well, but for me personally, I think Piergiani has been Stevenage's best signing so far. Stockport County have brought in the 7 players: Joe Lewis, Callum Camps, Kyle Wotton, Akil Wright, Fraser Horsford, Walsall, Connor, Lemonhay, Evans, and Viteslav Jaros. Probably butchered that, but I have gone with Callum Camps. Like I said, there was some very good options there for Stockport, but I've gone with Callum Camps. I think he's a quality number 10 at this level. Last season in League One, he scored 3 goals and got 6 assists in 29 starts for Fleetwood Town, I believe it was. He created 3 big chances, averaging 1.1 key passes per game. Also can do the defensive side though, with 1.2 interceptions per game, 1.4 tackles per game, and 1.1 clearances per game as well. I think this is a very good signing at League 2 level. I think Stockport definitely will be challenging for a top 7 finish next season. Sutton United have brought in the 6 players: Sam Hart, Jack Rose, Kwane Thomas, Tobe Fada, Hunse, Luke Gambin, Josh Nerfil, and I think for me personally, I don't know the majority of them, so I've gone with Sam Hart. I think he's at a good age, at the age of 25. Last season, he had 30 starts in League 2. Kept 7 clean sheets as well for Oldham, averaging 1.3 interceptions per game, 2.6 tackles per game, 2 clearances, 4.7 ground duels per 90, winning 61% of them, and 2 aerial duels per 90, winning 58% of them. For Sutton, I think this is a good signing, but like I said, I don't know the majority of their other signings, so I can't really comment on them. Swindon Town have brought in 12 signings this summer transfer window: Tome Adeloye, Kian Harris, Reece Devine, Tyrese Shade, Jacob Wakelin, Oscar Macy, Ronan Darcy, Saidu Khan, Romeo Hutton, Tom Clayton, Kieran Brennan, and Sol Bryan. Now, I was debating between Khan and Hutton. I've just edged it with Barrow's former right back, Romeo Hutton. I think at the age of 23, that is a fantastic age at this level. I do think he's a very good right back as well. 4 assists in 37 starts last season for Barrow, averaging 1.3 tackles per 90, 0.5 interceptions as well as 0.9 clearances. He also averaged 1.1 dribbles per 90, completing at 51% of them. I know they've brought in a lot of players. It looks very likely Jack Payne won't be signing a new contract and will be joining Charlton Athletic on a 2-year deal. At the time of recording, he is currently completing a medical with Swindon Town, but I think Romeo Hutton has been Swindon's best signing so far. Tranmere Rovers have brought in the 10 players then this transfer window: John Nolan, Reece McClear, Ethan Bristow, Paul Lewis, Kyle Jameson, Reece Hughes, Ben Hockenhull, Jack Williams, Ross Doohan, and Neil Byrne. I think they've brought in some decent players, but for me personally, I've gone with John Nolan. At the age of 30, he's now coming into his prime. He brings a lot of experience. Last season, he scored 3 goals in 11 starts in League One, I believe, for Ipswich. And then I know he went out to Bristol Rovers, but he didn't really work out for him there, and he hardly played. But if he can get his form back from when he was with Shrewsbury Town, he was fantastic there. He does need to get his career back on track, and I do think it is a good opportunity at Tranmere Rovers. Some players like Kyle Jameson, not the biggest fans of, can't say I'm really too impressed by that, but I don't know some of their signings like Ross Doohan and Neil Byrne. I can't really comment all too much on them. I know they've paid money for them, but I don't really know all too much about them. And finally, Walsall have brought in the 13 signings this transfer window: Andy Williams, Peter Clark, who is actually now in his 40s, Olsen, McKentry, Joe Riley, Isaac Hutchinson, Brandon Comley, Liam Gordon, Adam Prizebeck, Taylor Allen, Owen Evans, Flynn Clark, Liam Bennett, who I do think is a good signing, but he hasn't quite won it for me, and Douglas James Taylor. I've gone with Owen Evans. I do also think Flynn Clark is a good signing, but at 25, I think Owen Evans is at a fantastic age. I do think he's a good goalkeeper at this level. He did struggle in League One with Cheltenham Town. Last season, averaged 1.7 goals conceded per game, which I think is very poor, and only got the 5 clean sheets. I do think at League 2, though, he brings you, a decent amount of quality. I think he's a good goalkeeper at this level. And there you have it then. That is one player from every League 2 club who I think has been their best signing so far. If you have enjoyed, please make sure you drop a like on it. 70 likes would be absolutely class. Subscribe if you are new as well. Shout out to our current Tier 2 and Tier 3 channel members. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I shall see you all very soon for another video. Peace.